Hi, I'm Glo, and welcome to Glo's Kindred Kitchen. Well, today I decided to make some Mexican chicken and rice soup, and one of the things that prompted me to do this is two of my co-workers, Annette and Sheila, had asked me to do this. They both enjoy that type of soup but had never made it, and so I thought I'd show you one of the versions that I make. So let's go ahead and get started. This morning when I got up, I decided to go ahead and make my stock. And to make a delicious stock where you want the chicken to be the star of your dish, you want to use, for myself at least, I like to use the carcass of a roasted chicken with not a whole lot of flavorings in it, just the salt and the pepper and the usual things that you would use for a traditional roasted chicken. So let's go ahead and take the cover off. This has been going now since about 9 o'clock this morning, and right now it's 5.
Still going.
Yeah, oh, that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you. I did not put anything in here except for the carcass. And there's the chicken wings too. So I have a chicken breast here. And I'm going to put that in here to let it cook. It'll take about a half an hour or so to cook this. So see how that just submerges nicely in there?
Yes.
And I had it on low most of the day, or actually all day. I bring it to a boil and then I turn it down to low. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this. And we're just going to let this cook. I did add 2 teaspoons of this Knorr or Knorr poultry seasoning. It's a bouillon. And I did add that to this. And I also added 1 teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. You can use any kind of salt you like though. So in terms of the saltiness, it's just 2 teaspoons of the bouillon and 1 teaspoon of the salt. And I just added enough water to cover my chicken. So there's probably, I'm thinking maybe 3/4, probably 3 quarts of water in there at the most. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be putting in this after this chicken is cooked. After this chicken is cooked, I'm going to be removing the chicken breast, and then I'm going to be taking the broth and straining it through a strainer so all of the bones and the skin and everything are out of it, because we want this chicken to be the star. So you're thinking, well, what do you have for the rest of that soup? All it is the chicken broth and the chicken. Well, you're right, but we add garnishes. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some rice. So I have 1 cup of rice here, and I'm going to actually do 2 cups of rice though, and because I'm going to be making another dish tomorrow that I want to use leftover rice for. So I'm making actually 2 cups of rice and then 3 cups of water to go with that. And then a pat of butter. And what you do when you cook this on the side is you bring the rice and the water up to a boil, you add your butter and a little bit of salt, and you bring it up to a boil, and then you let it boil for a little bit. You put your lid on, turn your burner down to low for about 5-10 minutes. At least I do on my stove. I have an electric stove. And then you just let it steam, and it turns out perfect every time. So the next thing, while that's cooking and this is cooking, I'm going to prepare the garnishes that are going to go with this soup. So I use a lime, and I squeeze the lime into the soup, each individual bowl. I have tomatoes that I'm going to slice up for a garnish. I have a jalapeno. I'll probably remove all of the seeds, but the flavor of a jalapeno is delicious in this. I have an avocado. This is an avocado from Florida, and we love these. This one's called a slimcado. And if you find these in the store, by all means try it. You'll probably love it as much as we do. And then I'm going to be also adding some red onion to it. And I just slice it up into very small pieces. And all of that's going to be a garnish along with cilantro. And if you don't like cilantro, because there's some people that don't, by all means, don't use it. You could use parsley instead, or, you know, just don't put anything in it. You know, as far as cilantro or parsley. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get busy and do the rice, and I'm going to let this cook for a half hour, and then I'll be back. Well, I'm back. I wanted to show you, here's my rice with the water, and see how it's coming into a boil. I'm going to go ahead and put in a pat of butter, about like that. So that's probably like a tablespoon, maybe even that's more like a teaspoon. And then I'm going to put some salt in. About that much, so that's about a teaspoon. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I'm going to stir it up. Let it boil here for a few minutes, and then we're going to turn the heat down and put the lid on and let it simmer for a little bit, and then I'll turn the heat entirely off and it'll just steam. So anyway, I wanted to also show you about a jalapeno. I cut this in half. I took the top off, the stem, and what I use is a grapefruit spoon to remove those seeds. And if your skin is sensitive, you can wear gloves for this to do this. If I was doing this a lot, let me turn my burner down. It's really jumping. Then by all means wear gloves. Like when I'm making salsa to can, I wear gloves because otherwise my fingers are going to be burning by the end of the day. But for something like this where I'm just doing this amount, it doesn't bother me. But I remove like the white part that's in there as well. And then this is the part I'm going to cut up as part of our garnish. And you just cut it up into small pieces. So I wanted to show that to you. And I also forgot to tell you, for the pepper, I put in black peppercorns into my soup, into the broth when I'm cooking it. So I did about, I think it was 14 or 15 of these little peppercorns in there. And I just drop them in. And then when you're straining that broth, those will come right out with the bones. So you don't need to worry about it. So anyway, I'll be back in about a half hour.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, let's check our chicken now. It's been about a half an hour. So I'm going to remove the lid. Also, always remember to remove the lid away from everybody when you're lifting it. Lift it away because steam burns really hurt. So let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, it looks done. See how it's even, you know, breaking away like that? You know, yes. It's done. So I'm going to go ahead.
Looks good.
And remove this. Oh, better get a better hold of it. And I'm just going to put it, I use a pie plate. And I'm just going to set it over here. And we're going to strain this broth now. So let me just put my tongs in here. There's a sink of warm sudsy water. I find that's very helpful for me when I'm cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the burner off for a moment. You can see my rice is almost done.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and strain this. So I have my pot on a pot holder, and let me show you the strainer I have here. See how it just fits right in here?
Oh yeah.
So usually I will do this by the sink, but I wanted you guys to see how I do it. And you just do it slowly.
Or slowly. Slow is safe.
There. So you can see I have a few bones that are in there, but not much. And we're going to be using this pot from now on anyway. Since I already have the broth in there, I'm just going to use this pot. So I'm going to let this strain. I'm going to let my chicken breast over here cool, and then we're going to be back and we're going to have soup.
Sounds good.
Well, we're back and we're about ready to serve our soup for tonight. So I wanted to show you too, I cut open my avocado. Look how beautiful this is, you guys. I usually buy my avocados a few days at least before I'm going to use them, because you want them to feel kind of soft, not super soft, but just a little, has a give to it. If it's real hard, you need to let it ripen on your counter for a day or two. So anyway, I went ahead and I'm going to just show you how easily these peel. And
pretty easy.
Yeah, they really do. You can do it, with your hand like that, or just cut it off. Either way. But I just wanted to show that to you real quickly. And I went ahead and washed my pan that I had cooked my broth in, or bone broth all day, because I couldn't recall what size of a pot that was. It was a 6-quart. So it was between 3 and 4 quarts of water that I had put in there to submerge that chicken carcass all day long. So anyway, I want to put this together now so you guys can see how easy this is. So I went ahead and I deboned this chicken, and see, I used 2 forks for that, but see how nice that is, how it just pulls apart.
Very nice, Miss Cole.
Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and put some in here. You can use a knife to cut this up, but this is just so tender that you really don't need to do that. And when you're cooking chicken like this on the stove, like kind of poaching it like I did, you don't need to have that as a rolling boil. You want your water to just break. And because if you boil it, then it makes that chicken tough. And as you can see, this is just as tender as it can be. Look at that.
Little tender chicken trick.
Yep. And I usually have a washcloth, dishcloth over here just so I can wipe my hands off. Now here's the rice.
Looks good.
Yeah. Turns out so nice every time. Look how nice and fluffy that is. So I'm going to go ahead and put a spoon of that in with the chicken. And by doing it this way, your rice doesn't get overdone and get mushy in your soup. So I just kind of prefer to do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my lid from my bone broth that I had made. And I'm going to... Remember, all this has in it, besides the chicken, is the chicken bouillon that I had put in, and the salt, and the peppercorns. By all means, if you want more chicken in this, or more rice, or whatever, feel free to put whatever you want in it. So I'm going to put a few jalapeno pieces in. See how small I cut those up?
Yes.
And I like to put those in first, just so it kind of seasons that broth a little bit more. And then I'm going to put a little red onion. And I cut that up real small also. Makes it easier to eat too. I'm going to put in a couple of the tomatoes. These are grape tomatoes, and I just cut them up into quarters. And a little bit of the cilantro. We both really like cilantro, so I usually put a fair amount. And then I just cut up the avocado like that. These avocados are so good, so I'm going to put a little bit more in. So good. So I'll be back in just a moment to sample this after it cools off just a moment.
Okay.
Hi. Well, now it's time to taste, and that is the best part of cooking, I believe, is being able to enjoy what you cooked. Although I do really enjoy cooking as well for my family and friends. But anyway, before I taste this, I just wanted to thank everybody for your time and joining us today. And if you've enjoyed this and if you've learned something from it, please like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and share with your friends. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So I have just a small wedge of lime here. I'm going to squeeze that in over my soup. And I'm going to go ahead and try it. Been looking forward to this all day. Look how nice that is. With the tomatoes and the chicken and the rice.
Yes.
Avocado. So I'm going to go ahead and take a
Red
bite.
onion.
This is delicious, you guys. When you try this, let me know how you like it. It's one of my favorites. And this is a dish you can have any time of year. It's just wonderful. So anyway, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.